Hello! I'm making this mostly for my brother, but I might upload it to YouTube just because. Oh, that music's on. That's better. So this is the game. You can pick any country, pretty much, just before the start of World War II. There's a scenario that you can pick where World War II's already started, but there's not much point in that because you won't be able to make any changes you want to make. So here's France. Italy, if you do the tutorial, the tutorial is Italy, and you focus on conquering Ethiopia before the start of World War II. Places like Saudi Arabia, Iran's pretty decent, but some of the smaller places, I say smaller, but this is, in the game, it's technologically primitive, if that makes sense. I can kind of show you. I don't want to do an Iron Man save. I'm going to load this up to show you the changes I've made to the US. Yeah, whenever Kenny and I play it, it runs so slowly that we can't play together. So yeah, this is Saudi Arabia. They start out with 3 units, and they're green, and they're super low on supply, which means you have to build up their supply first. So this is not recommended to do, unless you don't really want to get involved in the main thing of World War II, but you just kind of maybe want to conquer Yemen, Oman, and maybe move like into more of the Middle East up here. And that basically be your whole goal in the game. But you have tech to research. This is one of the things I mean. They only have 2 research slots. Other places usually get like 3 or more. So you choose to research different types of equipment. This is just better than this. Basically all of it is, the second version is flat out better than the first version, but they take days. This is locked until you unlock this. There's, if it's ahead of time, there's a massive like research penalty because it's not factual. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. Support equipment's vital. There's armor, artillery is pretty vital. Land doctrine is absolutely necessary. It's critical. And yeah, I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. But tutorial explains a lot of it, plus if we were to play together, I can help explore. Help explain. This stuff is critical as well, especially this one. This is how you get synthetic oil if you don't have access to a lot of oil. That's the research. This national focuses. The Saudi Arabia is kind of, there's a lot of countries that have main and kind of like unique focus trees, which I could show you when I switch over to my communist United States. But political effort, this, if you go collectivist ethos, that lets you either go fascist or communist, or you can go liberty ethos and go neutrality, which is where you're neutral in the war, of course, but you get like defensive bonuses for land construction, land fort construction speed, things like that. Or you can go intervention, which keeps you like democracy, but you're allowed to fight in the wars. You can train divisions here. Reinforcements means equipment you build here will go straight into the units you currently have deployed, and it'll fill up this orange bar and start getting their equipment full. And they, of course, they fight better when their equipment's full. Or you can trade more units at the same time. But as you can see, with that, my manpower is now nothing. And now it's back some because I canceled it. You need manpower in order to reinforce and make divisions. So that's just a real quick overview. There's construction like this, consumer goods. If you change your economy type, which you need political power to do, you can cut down on civilian consumer goods factories and get more like actual factories that your country can use, which is this. But right now the only one is going to consumer goods, so I'd have to do industrial effort and focus on construction effort to get more civilian factories to actually build more things, like in order to improve my infrastructure or build civilian military factories or dockyards, stuff like that. It's a real quick overview. Let me load up my communist United States real quick so I can show you how I've kind of changed. Okay, so Mexico isn't happy that I went communist, and I've been building troops on their borders. I've been building up my navy as well. I'm currently building more submarines. I have a lot of submarines there. The United States starts out with a fairly large navy on both coasts. But yeah, they're the communist states of America now. And if I go here, you can see I haven't changed civilian economy yet, because part of the U.S. and their focus is they have the Great Depression, and you have to slowly do certain little things that kind of unlock as the war tension ramps up, as like Germany and starts doing stuff and Japan invades China. That'll get the war tension up, and that'll allow you to do more things. So like they have like war propaganda, which changes my mobilization law, which affects my manpower from like a disarmed nation to volunteer only. So I get a lot more people I can use. On this point I've gotten up to the giant wakes, which instead of having where was it? I don't think it shows it anymore. It was something even worse than civilian economy. It was something really, really bad, but it changed to civilian economy because I got that focus done. And we can see with the U.S. here, I have a crap ton of refineries being built. I've already built a lot, and I have a crap ton of other, just a massive amount of factories. Because you could choose where you want to build. So see, like I can build like 2 more there, or not build 2 more there. But like naval dockyards, I could build more in Florida if I wanted to, or not. And they control the Panama Canal, and they control like a little bit of islands here, like Puerto Rico there, and then over, of course they have Hawaii, and there's very little like the Line Islands and stuff out here that they control. I tend to just pull troops off of those, because Japan, when I play, they don't usually invade those too often. They're kind of more focused down here. But yeah, if I had wanted to, I could have also, you see here, I had a communist revolutionary, which started my progress towards getting communist. If I wanted to, I could have chosen a fascist demagogue, which will have started me going communist instead. And then, if you see here, I can't really see the fighting, but this is basically how the fighting is done. Is you take these troops, you do kind of like what Mexico has done, you put them along a line, which I guess I could actually show you. I have 50 divisions under Eisenhower, and I can click this to put a front line here. And now that entire army of the 50 divisions will position themselves along these and along this line, and then I can set an offensive along, like, say this, and they'll push equally along this line to get down to there. Or I could do a spearhead where I can specify, okay, all you divisions go like this, and that'll tell all 50 divisions, attention, instead of lining up on that entire line, they'll focus along here, and they'll all push to make this happen. Or you can also kind of say, okay, I don't want like all those. So I'll say do half of it, and then minus that. So now only half my divisions will line up all along the thing, and the other half will focus on this. Which this is something new, not really new, but it's new that they added after the game had been released.
Yes, sir.
Let's delete this since this is an Iron Man thing. I don't want to save it when I exit. But yeah, you can do that with everywhere. You can have Germany and you could still do the Anschluss, or however you pronounce it, of Austria, and you can still kind of like claim parts of Czechoslovakia, but you're still risking war there, especially if you don't have the historical timeline on, because you can change certain stuff around with that. But you can have Germany and still kind of do that stuff, and then just decide, well, you know what, I don't want to be fascist, I'm going to go communist, and I'm going to work with the Soviet Union, and we're going to invade Poland together, and then we're going to have a massive communist attack on Europe and invade all these other places. Or you could turn them democratic and work with France and England and them to fight Italy if Italy gets uppity, or if the Soviet Union decides, hey, I want to invade something, and then all this weird stuff is going to kick off where you have a democratic Europe, everyone fighting the Soviet Union or something like that. Or you can go play as China and try and fight off the invasion of Japan. It's really cool. It's a lot more... It's not as nitty-gritty, and it's not RTS so much. It's like kind of a bit of a higher level than that. But I hope this has been informative. Bye-bye.